Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, concluding our Game of the Week coverage of Metro Last Light. I want to give you guys some final thoughts after completing the game, which took me about 12 hours. The game lasted 12 hours with some exploration of the side areas. Now, if you know anything about me, you'll know that typically that's something that I don't really do. I'm usually a guy who likes to beeline it through games and make it to the end as fast as possible. I don't know if there's any reasoning behind that, that's just typically how I play, but I feel like they've created such an engaging world in Metro Last Light that I really wanted to see what was in all those little nooks and crannies in the side of the main path, if you will. So yeah, it took me about 12 hours to complete the game, and this is actually divided amongst 31 chapters, which might sound like a lot, but I believe that the way they've structured this may not be 100% correct, but I do believe they've structured this after the book that it's based on. So I wonder if the book has 31 chapters as well, and they literally divided it chapter to chapter. That could be wrong though, but given that most games, you know, the chapters aren't nearly that spread out, that's sort of what I'm led to believe. So anyways, yeah, the game took me about 12 hours, so it's a fairly decent length. I feel like if you were to try to beeline it, you might be more in the 8 to 10 hour vicinity. If you're wondering what's going on here, I'm going to try to make sure I don't spoil any of the story. What I can tell you is these are essentially some refugees who are in trouble and they've tried to run away, basically. But yeah, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. I'll talk with you about my impressions on the story here later in the video, but I'll do so without going into too many specifics, rather just let you know how I felt about the story once it concluded. So the most important thing for me in any video game is the gameplay. So that's what I'd like to start off by talking about. Now we've got this little interaction that's going on here, but I can just sort of leave these guys and go along my merry way, which is precisely what I will do. And actually, I wonder if, can I take this with me? I thought I could. I thought when I did this last time, I was able to take the vehicle. I don't know if he's stopping me here or... Okay, there we go, we're fine. I can stop here to pick up ammo and stuff. So this is something that recurs throughout the course of the game. You're consistently coming up to these little locations. Sometimes there'll be little towns, sometimes there'll be something like this where it's a group of refugees, but the main goal of it, beyond driving the story forward, the main goal of these places is to allow you to customize your weapon and refill ammunition. So the sort of customizations you can get, if you take a look at the bottom right, you'll notice everything that's in yellow, that's a custom addition to my weapon. So this one, I've got the scope and the silencer. This one's got a special barrel, as well as that scope as well. And actually, this is a new shotgun that I recently picked up at this point in the story, and there's no attachments to that yet. So I could go back there and get some attachments on it, and sure, why not? Why don't I do that? So I'll go back here, we'll get some attachments, and then we'll go forward and continue to talk about the gameplay itself. Now this particular part in the game, this is about a third of the way through. Alright, so we're going to go over here, we can customize this weapon here, and there's two basic things you can do. We can add a scope to it, and it looks like we've got two to choose from here. We've got the reflex sights plus the IR sights. Night vision with the IR, but I'd rather go for the reflex sights given that it's a shotgun and I'm typically using it at close range. And then the second one, we've got a silencer or an extended barrel that we can add to it. Why don't we go for the extended barrel? That sounds good to me. Alright, fantastic. So we used up some of our military grade bullets. The military grade bullets, I've explained this in a past video, but I'll just repeat it here. Military grade bullets can be used as bullets. If I hit tab here, you'll notice, take a look at the upper right, you've got that bullet symbol with a little, it looks like a gold bar next to it. I don't think I can mouse over it. I can actually show you if I switch to the... So for any of these rifles, you're able to switch from your normal rifle rounds. I've got 169 of those. I can switch that by hitting R to the military grade bullets. Now they're strong bullets, they do a lot of damage, but you're essentially shooting money if you use these to shoot enemies. It's one of those things where if you get in a really tight situation and you're all out of all other ammo, which even playing in normal difficulty, that's happened to me. If you run into that situation, you can use those military grade bullets and have extra ammunition, but otherwise it's used as currency to purchase new weapons and to purchase weapon modifiers or to purchase ammo for your other weapons. Okay, so I'm gonna have to actually load up here because we're pretty low on power. So this is one of my favorite parts of this game. It's the system where you have to power up. They basically, things that normally would occur in a video game by themselves, they force you to do them. And it creates this extra engagement and this extra immersion by them making it so that, you know, every few minutes you've got to power up your flashlight, otherwise it'll go out. Another great example is if you get muck on your goggles, you have to hit G to clear it off. And these are things that have happened in other video games, but typically it's an automated process. But here they're making you go through the effort to hit that extra button. And I think it really does add to the immersion and adds a little more depth and feeling to the gameplay itself. So I've talked about side areas, and I'll be showing you some of those right here. For example, we've got this little side spot. As I'm making my way throughout the metro, which is this underground system of tunnels where humans basically live at this point after this huge nuclear explosion that made the topsoil basically impossible to live on. But we take these little rail carts throughout, and oh boy, we've got some badness going on. I don't have night vision goggles at this point. I do get them eventually, I just don't have them right now. So we're gonna sneak up on these guys and do some stealth takedowns. And this guy's trying to take advantage of this poor lady, so I hate you and I will shoot you, because that is disgusting. There we go. So we saved her basically from a horrible, horrible experience. And I think some of his friends are coming too, but that shouldn't be a problem. We'll just take them out without much of an issue. You coming over here, buddy? Where are you? I think he'll come in a minute. So yeah, that extra immersion that's created through things like having to wipe down your goggles and having to power up your night vision goggles as well as your flashlight. When you do get night vision goggles, you have to power them up through that system as well. I really like the extra immersion that's created. And this little side area, like I just mentioned, not required, but if you'll walk by and you'll hear either a conversation taking place, or you'll notice that there's some sort of enemy monster. The primary enemies in this game, the part that we're looking at right now, the primary enemies are just these humans. That they're essentially bandits that are making life difficult for the people who live down here. So besides the humans, there are these spider creatures, and then there are these creatures that I guess they're sort of like wolf-dog mutant hybrid sort of things. So those are basically the, I guess, 3 enemy types that you're mostly engaging with here in this game. And even that sort of immersion, you've got something like these spider webs that are going to be impeding your progress when you try to walk through different areas, and then having to pull out your Zippo lighter to burn those up so that you can progress without being slowed. I mean, that's the sort of stuff, that's the sort of attention to detail that they've put in this world that I think really makes this a great game in that sense. Okay, so now we should go ahead and hop into some gunplay here. And I typically play quite stealthily, so I'm going to start off at least stealth as we come up here to this next section. And I think actually, is this one of the sections where, okay, no. So we've got some guys coming up here, so we're going to start off stealth. We've got my silenced pistol here. And I'm going to try to take out these guys. We're staying in the shadow, and I did an entire video talking about the stealth in this game. And it's essentially a light shadow system where when you're in the shadows, you're undetected. When you're in the light, you're detected. That is indicated on your watch by this little blue light that shows up basically once you become visible. So what I'm going to do is we're going to knock out the light over here, and then I'm going to shoot him. And I think because I knocked out the light first, that they do not know where that came from. And I actually can't shoot that out. That's like a kerosene lamp over there. But they still don't know what's going on, essentially. I am still in the shadows. They didn't really see him because he was in the shadows when I took him out. It looks like they were slightly alerted, but... So this game really allows you to play how you want when it comes to, do you want to play guns blazing or do you want to be a stealth dude? It's totally up to you. The enemies seem a little dumb at times because of this sort of light shadow system that they do implement in this game. And I got that complaint during the first video that I made talking about stealth in the game. And I think it's just important to realize, like, when you're implementing a system like this, how else do you do it, right? I mean, it's just a hard stealth system in the sense that if you're undetectable, you're undetectable. Unless you come out of the light or unless you shoot someone like right in front of you or something, and they're in the light, then you're going to be undetected and you're safe. So here's an example. I'm going to go into the light here, and this guy's going to see me. Notice my watch, the little blue light will turn on. Okay, never mind. He can't see me because he's turned around. Oh well, I guess I'll just shoot him in the head then. If he wasn't turned around, he would have totally been able to see me, I promise you. I love, and here's a great example. Look at this. This guy's right next to me. So I can understand that complaint, right? I've got a guy right in front of me, but because I'm in this hard, light, dark stealth mechanic, he doesn't see me. It doesn't register that I'm standing directly in front of him. So it does kind of make the enemies seem a little bit stupid. I can understand that complaint if that's a negative that people would draw for this game. I liked the system because I liked to stealth, and I liked knowing at any given time if I was going to be safe or not. And I always got that, because if I was in the dark, I was safe. And again, I can understand the complaints, though. That seems easy, that seems unrealistic, that seems a bit stupid. Sometimes, yeah, okay, I could totally see where you're coming from. If those are complaints that you would levy against this game, I would not disagree with you in that sense. So besides the stealth besides the stealth system here in this game, the general gameplay, the general gunplay, it feels pretty standard, you know? It feels like a normal shooter, which is a step up above what the first Metro game, Metro 2033, had. That game, in all honesty, it didn't have the greatest combat in it, and that was a huge complaint about that game in reviews from fans, from just general, you know, the general consumer base and press alike. One of the biggest problems is, as great of a game as that was, and how awesome of an immersive world they created, the gunplay wasn't that great. They've really stepped it up here in Metro Last Light. The gunplay does feel excellent. It feels on the level with a normal shooter that you would expect nowadays. It's passable. It's good. Nothing groundbreaking. The shooting gameplay is just pretty standard, but you know, it gets the job done, and that's not the main focus of this game. This is certainly an FPS, but the main focus is the world, the immersion, and the interaction with other people and things in the environment. And by things, I mean, you know, creatures, monsters, and the Dark Ones, for example, which are a major facet of this game. And they are the enemy that was eliminated in the first game, and then you spend the time in this game sort of trying to make up for that, make up for the fact that you basically took out this entire species of creatures that initially were thought of as bad, but maybe it turns out that they're not so bad. Okay, so we're just going to do some normal gunplay now. I'm going to switch my masks here. Hopefully this is in a better shape. Looks like it's still got some cracks, but I don't want to stealth through this. I just want to show you some normal gunplay. So we are just going to go in guns a-blazing and shoot some people up. There's a lot of guys here from what I remember, because when I first went through here, I did play through it stealth. So yeah, this should be interesting to see how this all goes. We've basically got these two little corridors. Again, we're taking that tram down these tracks, and there are all these little side areas. And we've got all these rebels that we've got to take out. Like that guy right there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to reload. We got some stuff on my mask, so I gotta wipe that off. Otherwise, it would pretty much stay there. Again, one of my favorite things that they've done in this game to sort of create this immersive world, and this world that really pulls you in, really draws you in quite a bit. But again, as you're seeing here, you know, nothing really groundbreaking for the gunplay system, but it's certainly passable. We've got a system of throwing weapons, if you will, and that is divvied up into grenades, throwing knives, and there are also claymores as well. I've got flame grenades and regular grenades here, and then we've got these throwing knives that we could huck at people. Maybe I can show you one of those here. Try to throw this at him or something. This probably isn't the best point in time to do this, but yeah, he's behind that grate. I don't even know if it's working, to be honest. So we'll just shoot him with the regular weapons. Also love the weapons that they're using, like this sort of, I don't know guns at all, but this, I would assume because of the setting of this game, that we've got like this Soviet rifle here, and I just love how the ammunition moves from left to right, and then you've got to throw that clip out and toss that new one. I think it looks so cool, and yeah, one of those things that really adds to the feeling of authenticity of this game. And maybe there aren't too many more, actually. There's just that little train over here, and we've taken out a few guys. Man, it took me so long to do that last time. Maybe because I was stealthing. I will certainly say that if you play the stealthy route, the game can take you much longer. The only problem, though, and one of the ways that they really incentivize playing stealthy for at least part of the time, is that ammunition is scarce, even in the normal setting, and it's going to be even worse in Ranger mode. And I'll talk on a Ranger mode too, since we're on the topic. So the Ranger mode difficulty, that's the difficulty mode that they locked behind DLC, or if you happen to pre-order the game, that you would have been able to get it as well. But that's a 4th difficulty. I want everyone to be clear. They didn't eliminate the hard difficulty. What they removed was the hardcore difficulty. And if you don't know, I also want to clarify. They said this. I think they sent out a press release, or was it an interview or something? But basically, the reason that whole debacle happened was that retail stores told the developer, you need to give us some retail-specific DLC, or content rather, some retail-specific content that makes people come to our stores, and if you don't do that, then we're not going to put your game on our shelf. That is the long and the short of it. That is basically the reason that happened. They were told by retail stores, so your Best Buys, your GameStops, if you don't have content that is specific from people who buy it from our shop, from pre-order or whatever, then we will not stock your game. So it was either only be a downloadable title or have to lock something. And their reasoning for doing the Ranger mode, that I don't think that was I'm not trying to defend their decision, by the way, because I think they should have done, I don't know, special weapons or something stupid like that. So say a higher level weapon that normally would take you 5 hours to get to, make it so that you get that right away or something. I don't think they should have done a difficulty mode. I think that was a stupid decision, and it definitely hurt them in the press. They got a lot of negative news headings and press for that reason. So obviously hindsight's 2020. They probably realized at this point maybe we should have done something different. But just so you guys understand, they didn't do that because they felt like it. Well, they made that decision, but that decision was informed by the fact that retailers told them there needs to be something that is specific to people purchasing at the store so that they have a reason to come here. Otherwise, we won't stock your game. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. They do incentivize stealth gameplay in this game, because even in the normal difficulty, which is what I'm playing under, even in this difficulty, you run out of ammo quite often. I think there's like 4 or 5 boss fights. Something like that. There aren't a lot. They're kind of stupid. The bosses are really easy to fight. It's basically just run around in circles until you wear them out, and try to just shoot at their weak spots, and that's it. Yeah. So it was kind of stupid. Not at all difficult, the boss fights, but you know, it's something different than just shooting your normal enemy type. So that's fine, right? I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't know what you would expect in a game like this when it comes to boss fights. Like, oh boy, we got some guys over there. Maybe shut off our flashlight here so we can take them out. And I am sorry, I did want to show you a later level, but because I didn't want to spoil stuff too badly, that's why I decided not to. But normally, at least for the last third of the game, I had night vision goggles, which made seeing in the dark quite significantly easier, obviously, as you would assume. Something else interesting that I want to show you guys. So you've been noticing me pick up ammunition off these guys' bodies. Well, when you pick up the weapons, you also get ammo as well. I don't know if that's a shotgun or a pistol. I think that's a pistol. I just want to show you. Okay, so I believe this is a pistol. So watch my ammo. I am 6 of 84. I'm going to pick up that pistol, and then I'm going to switch it back to the one that I had prior. And watch my new ammo. Oh, it's supposed to increase. Am I at max? Am I at max ammo for that? I don't know. That's really weird. Well, the reason I was doing that was because I found that, maybe it's just with assault rifles, but I found that whenever you pick up a new weapon, that you get additional ammo from it. more so than the ammo that you just pick up off their bodies. So it became this tedious task of me. It was specific to the assault rifle. Maybe that's what it is. Either that or I am capped on the pistol ammo. I'm not sure. I'll try to find an assault rifle coming up here so I can show you what the heck I'm talking about. Okay, we're gonna go left. Or no, this one's going straight. Okay, I do want to go right here. So we're actually gonna back this up because we've got this little toggle switch here to change the direction of the tracks, just like that. And now we will be heading to the right over here. Fantastic. So yeah, again, the gameplay is passable. It's good. They incentivize stealth most definitely. There's really no question about that. They do want you to use stealth in this game. And I was able to break through that, but we've got that little side area that I'd like to go to. They incentivize stealth. There's no question about that. Let me talk about the atmosphere. The atmosphere in this game. The atmosphere in this game is fantastic, so much so that I dedicated an entire video to it. It's just, in terms of post-apocalyptic games, this might be one of the most immersive that I've ever played. Like that, I can hands down say that. They've just created such a fantastic world, I think. Look at these idiots. They have no idea that I'm here. Not even the foggiest. That's really funny. And that guy's super dead. Yeah, this is easily one of the most immersive post-apocalyptic worlds that I've ever played in. The underground is it's such a daunting and heavy and dreadful feeling. And when you're above ground, there's this sense of relief, but at the same time, you've got this poisonous air, so you also don't want to be there for very long. But it's this beautiful landscape as well. The great contrast too is that you spend most of the game down below where we are right now in the metro, but as soon as you go up to the above ground, you get this, again, you get this sense of relief because it goes from this really claustrophobic area like we are now, very, very closed in and very tight, and just a corridor shooter is essentially what it is in these areas. And this game is incredibly linear. I want you to know that as well. There's really no exploration to be had, with the exception of these small side rooms like where we are now is essentially it. Oh no, they're running away with the children or whatever. Okay, that's fantastic. We got him. Yeah, very, very linear game, but back on to point. The contrast between the underground metro area that's so daunting and so claustrophobic and so tight and enclosed, and it's the last hope for humanity. It's the last bit of the people who survive from the apocalypse, and then you go out into these big open vistas with gorgeous landscapes, and visually this game looks amazing too. That's something that I really got to give credit to, that they've done with just the general world, the way it looks. It looks fantastic. I'm actually playing on the highest setting, ultra high or whatever it's called, and yeah, it just looks fantastic. And I'm doing so just in case I have had people ask before. I'm running a GTX 680, so it's a high-end card. It's not top of the line. It's not a 690. It's not a Titan, but it's a high-end card. And this game is also optimized for NVIDIA cards. You need to know that as well. I guess some people running AMDs were having some trouble with it. But yeah, game looks fantastic. Amazing atmosphere. Just a fantastically crafted world. The gunplay is average, but nothing amazing, and overall I just think it's a great game. Now, last thing I want to talk about is the story. Story rather dark. This is not a game about hope and survival, at least not for a vast majority of it. It's about the terrible things that people have done and the consequences that resulted for that reason. And this game, the primary focus of the story is basically, again, you're playing as Artyom, and you're trying to make up for the atrocities that you committed in wiping out the Dark Ones, who may not be bad. I don't want to tell you whether or not that's yes or no, but that's basically the premise of the story as you make your way throughout it. I felt like the game started to drag a little bit around the 10-hour mark. It definitely finishes strong, and I like the finish of it, but I certainly felt like it dragged a little bit. That could be more due, though, to my personal preference in games. When I've got a linear game like this without exploration, 12 hours is a bit much. Now, I'm not saying I don't like long games. I certainly do. But when I've got a long linear game, sometimes I start to get a little antsy. And I think when you're telling such a straight up story like that, I mean, that can be hard to fill 12 hours nonstop, you know, of interesting content. So it started to drag towards the end, but it did finish strong, and overall, the story, I came out with a positive impression. I liked it. I thought it told an interesting story, an interesting take on humanity and the things that we do and the consequences thereof. So yeah, I guess that's that. Those are my final thoughts on Metro Last Light. I realize that this video is coming a little bit late. Ideally, I'd like to have the Game of the Week coverage finished up within the week that Game of the Week started. But here it is, nevertheless, and hopefully you guys liked it. So thank you so much. Once again, this has been Force concluding my Game of the Week coverage of Metro Last Light. Just gonna give my thumbs up. The game's only $50 too. It's not the standard $60 price point. And I think it's definitely well worth that, especially if you could get this game on sale. Pick it up. If you like dark, atmospheric games about the end of the world, this will be one for you. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning. These are the little werewolf puppy things that we fight throughout most of the game. Mutated things or whatever, I don't know. They keep smacking me in the face, though. Am I all out of... Oh, no, I'm not all out of healing. Oh, I'm full, though, so I don't need to heal. All right, well, let's go with this guy. He's going to help us here. Thank you, friend. Thanks for your help. The game's cool. I like it. Where are these guys? Oh, my lord, they're everywhere. This is scripted, though. I don't even know if it matters if we kill anything. I'm just not going to shoot anything. This is scripted. I think we're fine. Sucker.